So we dealt with fractions, dealt with percentages, now we got to deal with decimals. So in just terms of doing standard operations with decimals. Cool, adding decimals. 276.09 plus 1.089. Cool, there's two ways to approach this. Or really, let's say there's three ways to approach this. So the first one is approximate your answer. If I look at this, what is this answer going to be approximately? $277 and some change. If there's only one answer that says 277 and some change, notice the 0.09 and the 0.089 is not going to be bigger than a whole. It's not going to be 278 and some change, essentially. It's still going to be 277 point something. If there's only one answer choice, dude, you're done, right? So if that's not the case, how else might you approach this? Use the online calculator. Sweet. Use the online calculator, right? Or, and again, because it's not driven by your 10 key, it might not be the fastest way to go. So you might just, instead of writing this out like this, you might put the 1.089 down here and do this just like you did in elementary school. So here, in this case, I add another 0. 0 plus 9 is 9. 9 plus 8 is 17. Carry the 1. 772. And I get 277.179. And again, due to the nature of the online calculator, you might be able to do this faster on your whiteboard than you can on the calculator. Now, whether or not it has the same degree of accuracy, that might be another thing too. But personally, I hate using the online calculator. And I usually avoid it if I can. So let's talk about multiplying or dividing fractions as well. Let's say we have 4.8 divided by 0.12. 4.8 divided by 0.12. Now there's a couple different ways you can approach dividing decimals. And again, you can always approach this by using the online calculator. Sweet. So, but again, your way to get around the online calculator, which again, a lot of this stuff is really not difficult or hard. And the key is if you get good at it, which is not the most difficult process in the world, it might be faster for you, more time efficient to not use the online calculator. So if we look at this, when I look at something like this, I usually say, is 48 divisible by 12? Forget the decimals, just ignore the decimals for a minute. Is that a perfect division? It is. Then this is probably something I can do really easily. So, and what I like doing, so you can turn this into scientific notation or a fraction. I like scientific notation, I don't like fractions. In this case, I know 48 divided by 12, so I want to ultimately turn this into 48 divided by 12, because I know that equals 4. But how do I make 4.8 48? I have to add a power of 10. In this case, this is the same as 48 times 10 to the what? Minus 1. Is this proper scientific notation? No, I don't care. This is not my final answer. I'm not looking for this in one of the multiple choice answers. This is just my tool for getting to the final answer. So whether you write it properly or improperly as your work, who cares? Same thing here. I don't want 0.12, I wanted 12. 12 times 10 to the what here? Negative 2. And now this becomes something I can do in my head pretty easily. What's 48 divided by 12? 4. What's 10 to the negative 1 divided by 10 to the negative 2? 10 to the 1. What's 4 times 10 to the 1? 40. Cool. And there's your answer. So, truth be told, I actually don't go as far as writing this out in scientific notation and stuff like that. I look at it this way instead. If I look at, say, 4.8, I could divide that by 1.2, if you can see that as well. 48 by 12 is a little bit easier, but what's 4.8 divided by 1.2? 4. Okay, but I'm dividing not by 1.2, but by a number that is 10 times smaller. And if I divide by a number 10 times smaller, then I'm not going to get 4, I'm going to get an answer that's 10 times bigger, 40. So there's some little tricks around this that you can do this in your head pretty quickly. So, but again, end of the day, if pressure is mounting and all that jazz, and you got an online calculator for some of these more simplistic calculations. So what if you got something like this? 2.43 divided by 90. Now again, if I ignore decimals, I'll have 243 over 90. Is that going to be a perfect power of 10? I'm sorry, not a perfect power of 10. Is that going to be an exact whole number when I divide that through? No. So this method we just used with like 48 and 12, not going to be so easy here, right? So we can still turn this into scientific notation, which is probably the route we're going to go, but it's not going to be such a simple solution. We may have to do a little approximating over the course here. So 2.43, I can live with that. That's proper scientific notation. What about 90? 9 times 10 to the first is scientific notation. And so from here, I can kind of approximate. 2.43 over 9. So it's kind of somewhere, is it as big as a third? No, because it's not 3/9. And a third would be what fraction, or what decimal, I should say? 0.33. So this is going to be smaller than 0.33, but not too much smaller, right? So maybe like, 0.28-ish, maybe, or something like that. But then dividing by 10 to the first. So here, 2.43 over 9 is maybe approximately I'll just go to 0.3. Somewhere a little higher, a little lower, who knows. So, and then dividing by 10 to the first would make this times 10 to the what? -1. So, essentially this is the same as times 10 to the 0, anything to 0 is 1. And so 10 to the 0 divided by 10 to the 1 is 10 to the -1, top minus bottom. And so what is this really as a number then? Yeah, somewhere close to 0.03. Somewhere close to 0.03. Maybe an approximation. So if we look at this one, what might be a faster way to go in this case when this didn't work out so nicely? Use your online calculator. I mean, if it comes out a nice whole number, this might be faster. And again, you might just blanket say, if I'm doing simple multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, I'm just going to use the stupid calculator. So one thing to note, get on your computer. So look in your accessory programs and pull up the calculator. It's pretty much the same type calculator. And use it. Don't use the keys. Use your mouse. And just get familiar with it. If the first time you've ever played with that thing is on your DAT, so what's the old phrase, never use an untested gun, right? So never take an untested gun to battle, or whatever. Same thing there. Use your calculator a little bit. Play with it. You'll probably use it once or twice at the very least, even if you're like the most adept arithmetic mathematician, so to speak. So, all right.